as a big one is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Metro Ford Cup Series here for the Old Bastards Racing League. Tonight, we're at the virtual Martinsville Speedway where we're going to go 250 laps here, and it's guaranteed to be an exciting evening as we make our way around the half-mile track. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name's James Eastbury, the Action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as right now, single-car qualifying is underway. Let's see who may be out on track. Looks like Carl Burke making his way around in the number 52 Chevrolet. Clicks off his opening time lap with a 20.03. That's good enough for 7th off the rip. But it's Eddie Cajun Jones sitting on top of pole with a 19.53. As always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as our drivers will very frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor, maybe a phone, and just about always watching it back after this show has ended to see what they've done cool, review their notes, maybe check out what the competition was doing a little bit differently. And they definitely appreciate and notice the fans that are out here today at the virtual Martinsville. Carl Burke moves up into 7th. Let's check on Joey Buscemi in the 56. He did a 21.51 his opening lap. Does he improve on that 12th place qualifying position? Yes, he does. Moving up to 6th, edging out Lee Warsdale, Carl Burke. And look who's back out on track. Steve the Mule Thompson in the number 67 Toyota. Steve hasn't been able to run a full schedule, but always great having him back out on track when he gets the opportunity. Let's see what he can do after a bit of a hiatus, and I think he's still got it. Immediately jumping up to 5th. Will he have a little bit left in the tank as John Hinchcliffe edges out the 67 for that top 5 spot by about 11 tenths. Thompson moving on up, 19.56, good enough for 2nd, which will put him right behind Eddie Jones. Who else is out on track? Andrew Hess making his way out in the 54. Now, the Team Miata drivers frequently go out very late in practice looking for the coolest track position they possibly can. Hess with a 19.91. That's good enough for 9th. Dan Hill. Let's check out the number 10, who's been very quick here in the MXPX back Chevrolet. He has for certain been a front runner this season thus far. Very recently getting his double-digit numbers, graduating out of the rookie class and coming to play with the big dogs. Well, let's see what Dan does here. That's going to be 8th, or at least for now, at 19.81. Now, Hill was one of the fastest drivers in practice leading up to qualifying. Look at that. Tom Ogle takes the top spot with a 19.52. And Dan Hill careens it around, so he's going to have to settle for a 9th place quali. But Ogle in the White Claw Seltzerback number 11 Ford Mustang coming out and finding some speed here. Wasn't able to improve on his opening lap, but edged out Jones by just 1/100th of a second. Looks like Robinson's going to sneak out onto qualifying as well. Just over a minute left to go. As Robinson wicks it up in the number 23. Let's see what he can do in his first and may be only flying lap. He won't have a lot of time here if he has any bobbles on this first time lap to make something happen. These drivers only get 2 qualifying laps to set the running order. What's Robinson got in the tank in the 23 machine? He clicks off fairly fast. Good enough for 4th with a 19.59. 700ths back from Tom Ogle sitting on pole. Does Robinson improve on a 19.59? He does slightly with a 19.54, moving up into 3rd. Well, that's a lot of heavy hitters in the top 5. Ogle, Jones, Robinson, Thompson, MacArthur. The gang is all here. So Dean Gear heads out late, but he will not be able to put down a quali time. And that will wrap it up here for our single car qualifying session at Martinsville. This is going to be exciting, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting our drivers gridded up, ready to go. Let's run it through the grid for today's feature event. It's Tom Ogle with Team Yada sitting on pole. Eddie Jones starting 2nd. Josh Robinson starting 3rd. Steve Thompson starting 4th. Dwayne MacArthur starting 5th. Kevin Stramberg 6th on the grid. Jason Higginbotham starting 7th. John Hinchcliffe starting 8th. Greg McDaniel starts 9th. Dan Hill 10th on the grid. Patrick Milligan, Metro Ford man himself, starting 11th. Andrew Hess starting 12th. Then we got Joey Buscemi starting 13th, Bruce Pearson 14th, Brian Lindsay starting 15th tonight, Lee Warsdale starting 16th, Carl Burke starting 17th, Robert Garisco starting 18th, Lloyd Moore starting 19th, Michael Watts starting 20th, Michael Dow 21st, Larry Corey starting 22nd, Joe Brown starting 23rd, Dakota Pischke starting 24th. Then we've got Dean Gear starting 25th and Chris Sidnor starting 26th. A very healthy grid here, and a lot of big names in that top 5. So Ogle and Jones, your front row. Thompson, Robinson, your 2nd row. MacArthur and Higginbotham, your 3rd row. .250 laps. Drivers were telling us they think it's going to be more about a fuel race than it is a tire wear. The tire wear they were pretty happy with in the practice laps here today at Martinsville. But this is round 8, and so far we've only had 3 different winners. MacArthur, Jones, Higginbotham. All looking for some repeat wins as the pace car comes in. And away they go. Jones with a great start. The number 14 machine working the outside line against Ogle. Ogle's going to answer as quick as he can here. Now, will these drivers be patient as Ogle sends it up the inside line to take over the race lead? His teammate Robinson trying to follow in tow, but Jones has just a little bit better drive out of the corner. Going to be interesting to see, are drivers content hopping into single file formation, or are we going to try and see some big movers making the rounds up towards the top early on here? Carl Burke had a bit of a crash in the 52, but the caution did not come out. We'll keep it rolling. As Ogle extends his lead in the number 11 Ford Mustang. He's got Jones and Robinson right behind, as well as Thompson and MacArthur. Ogle will be one of those drivers looking for his first win of the season. I think Brian Lindsay may have had a bit of a bobble. We saw some big smoke there, and it showed Lindsay his trigger in the pit light entry. As Ogle absolutely ripping it around Martinsville. There's Eddie Jones running second with Josh Robinson right behind. They've got about a 1.4 second gap on Steve the Mule Thompson and a runaround in fourth. And oh, we've got more problems as Andrew Hess shows involved with an incident pointing the wrong way here. And let's see what happened to Hess in the 54. Just loses the rear end, tries to chase it around and just barely taps that inside wall. And that will bring out the first caution of the evening. Let's see, does anybody opt to come down pit road only 9 laps in? I would assume drivers will stay out just for the track position at this point. It'll be just Hess coming down pit road after that single car incident. Getting a little bit of repairs done on the nose of that 54 Chevrolet. And let's try it again. Jones with another great launch. Absolutely been killing it on the restarts this season. Ogle drops in right behind him. Robinson, Thompson, MacArthur all there as well, the top 5. Is Ogle to try and set up an inside line against Jones? Yes, he is. Driving it in deep. But I would imagine Jones will carry just a little bit more momentum down start finish line straight. Ogle going to try once more into 1 and 2. Making that track just a little bit smaller. Two Titans side by side down the back stretch. Robinson looking for a way through as well. Oh, and we may have more problems as Dan Hill has an incident. Well, what's going on with Hill? He's got bad connection issues once more in the number 10. It showed him involved with a crash, but that may not be the case. As still, Ogle and Jones side by side racing hard, only 16 laps into this main event. And now it looks like Robinson's going to take advantage of number 14, who can't quite get back down low. The two teaming auto drivers, Ogle and Robinson, taking over the race lead here. Now Ogle and Robinson still looking for their first win of the season. Jones, I believe, has 2. I'll get confirmation on that. Yeah, Jones, the number 14 machine, has 2 wins thus far. Trying to make it a third here. So now on track right now, Eddie Jones and Jason Higginbotham, both looking for their 3rd win of the season. Meanwhile, Dwayne MacArthur in the number 83 looking to be the first 4-time winner of the season. Currently the only driver to bring home 3 wins. But talking to MacArthur before tonight's race, he wasn't super ecstatic to come out to the short track at Martinsville. And he may be in a bit of a point-saving mode here. It'll be interesting to see. Everything pretty calm out on track. Let's go back to the battle for 10th, though, between Michael Watts and Patrick Milligan. Watts has moved that 84 machine now up 10 positions. Not having the qualifying that he was looking for, but starting to capitalize and make forward momentum. And a very clean painted number 84 Ford as well, I should say. But right now, I believe it's going to be Dean Gear in the 92 machine. Dean did not put down a qualifying run. We saw just at the very tail end of that qualifying session, the 92 losing the rear end and coming around and validating any progress he has had. So he's had a bit of luck as well. Now moving up 11 spots into the 14th position. Kevin Strandberg running 6th in the 58. He's got company from John Hinchcliffe in the number 50 machine. And this will be the battle for 6th on track right now. You can see Dwayne MacArthur in the 83 machine just ahead. Barney, our flagman, looking on. On board with Hinchcliffe. You can hear just how much these drivers are having to get off the throttle through the tight corners here at Martinsville. Now what you guys, everybody needs to keep an eye out for, the more this run progresses, you'll see drivers starting to tighten up. They won't be able to hold the car at the left as they make their way out of the corners and start occasionally bouncing into the old outside wall, and that can spell disaster, especially as we start to get traffic in this race, making it tough for your race leaders. Possibly Tom Ogle, Josh Robinson, yeah, they'll be the first ones to have to face traffic here, as they can see a pack of them just ahead. So you're focused on Tom Ogle, your race leader, but just about a half track ahead, even less than that, is Buscemi, Dan Hill, Michael Dow, Chris Sidner in their own 4-car battle for 22nd. I believe Andrew Hess is going to be there as well. Dan Hill, I believe, has come down pit road with massive connection issues. As you were on board with Tom Liberace Oval. We'll have the pleasure of cutting through traffic first here tonight, 30 laps in. That's Chris Sidnor going way wide to facilitate the pass as cleanly as he can possibly help. Oval and Robinson get by nice and quick. They've got a whole lot of drivers in front of them. Luckily, they've gained about 1.6 seconds over Eddie Jones, who is in third, as the top five starting to stretch out ever so slightly. And look at the rotors glowing on Oval's number 11 machine. That front left rotor bright red. Shame it's not a night race where you can really see that. As here we go, Oval and Robinson cutting through traffic once more. Now we're only 30 laps in, ladies and gentlemen, so if that is a sign of things to come, it is going to be a long night for your race leaders having to navigate the different skilled and speed drivers out here. The Old Bastards Racing League, one of the cleanest iRacing series you can hope to join. Minimum age 35 years. And they are very intense on making sure you do not go above the IPL, the incident point limit. If you find yourself with too many problems, too many crashes, you'll be rewarded for your efforts with EOLs and starting from the grid penalties. Ogle very quickly cutting through traffic here. So 35 laps in, we're down to 20 drivers out of the 26 that started on the lead lap. And lap times haven't slowed off too much due to tire wear and traffic. Last time by, Ogle with a 20.32, so about 7/10 off his fastest lap of the race, but that could very well be due to traffic here, more so than tire management. Ogle getting ready to make his way around Joe Brown's 21 machine. Brown going high again, trying to make things as easy as possible for your race leaders. Now these guys run 4 or 5 times throughout the week together, be it the different series they run here at OBRL or the practice night. So just about every night you can find most of these guys out on track. Just a great group of mostly talented drivers coming out each and every week, but tonight it's the Metro Ford Cup Series, the premier series of the OBRL. As Ogle and Robinson showing they've got what it's take. Now they're gonna hope this thing can keep going green out to the end as the two teammates linked up nose to tail. They've gained a 3.5 second gap over Eddie Jones in third. Thompson running fourth, MacArthur rounding out the top 5. Now, watch carefully. I believe that's Larry Corey in the 17 machine, and he's kind of showing the signs of what I was talking about earlier. If that car pushes too wide up the outside line, it just takes a slight tap of the wall, and it can kind of bounce you back into the race line, into traffic. So your race leaders, Ogle and Robinson, are going to be very mindful here to give everybody out on track plenty of space. because as much as the drivers going a lap down don't want to crash, Ogle and Robinson definitely don't want to risk anything here as they continuously pull a gap. But man, oh man, look at the traffic ahead of them. They're too wide ahead of your race leader in their own battle. So everybody out on track finding somebody to race with. I believe that's going to be Bruce Pearson, Carl Burke, Robert Narisco ahead of your race leaders, fighting to stay on the lead lap. But Ogle right now just absolutely ripping it, keeping that number 11 machine on rails and not having any issues thus far. But things will get interrupted here with a lap 46 caution. It's going to be Joe Brown finds himself acquainted with the inside wall here at Martinsville. Does he get help? No, he just lights up the rear tires, the exact same move. Almost look at the identical spot, I think, as Andrew Hess, who had problems. And that will be our second caution for the evening. And now everybody's going to come down pit road. Bruce Pearson opts to stay out in the number 22 Ford Mustang. And we will re-rack them. It'll once again be Ogle and Robinson on your front row. Jones, Thompson, your second row. And McDaniel has moved up to the third row. He'll be accompanied with Dwayne MacArthur. I believe McDaniel only maybe took 2 tires on that stop. He was in his pit stall 9.75 seconds. Normally a 4-tire stop will show around 14 to 15 and a half seconds. So McDaniel valuing the track position just a little bit more than a full set of fresh tires. So second caution, 50 laps in. A whole lot of laps left to go for our competitors. Now these drivers should be able to go again for quite a long time. If they can get about 125 to 150 laps out of a tank of gas. So if we can go green, these guys should be able to stretch it out to about lap 200. Here we go once more. Where is Eddie Jones and his patented start? He's going to send it up deep on the inside line to try and regain that spot. So tough to make big moves here at Martinsville. And now it's going to be Jones on the inside trying to edge out Robinson. He will do so, taking over the second place spot. The short run hero, Eddie Jones, gonna do what he can to maybe move Ogle out of the way here. Get some more laps led and see if he can dethrone the White Claw King. Ooh, Jones getting a little bit snapped loose there, coming out of 4, able to collect it and hold on to it. But that's going to allow Robinson ample opportunity to squeeze back up to the back bumper of the number 14 machine. Ogle starting to, looks like he's pulling a gap already on the second place driver. As you go on board with Eddie Jones chasing down Ogle. Ogle is getting fantastic drive out of the corners, but Jones reeling him back in under braking. Now, since we're only 56 laps in, I'm not expecting the old front bumper to come into play too much, at least on purpose. As the 2 cautions we have seen is from drivers losing the rear end under throttle. But as the laps tick off, drivers get a little bit more aggressive, then you may expect to see some fireworks here at Martinsville. As Jones doing a great job staying right there with Ogle, not letting the number 11 machine stretch that gap too much here. Ogle holding about 3/10 over Jones. Jones also with about 3/10 over Robinson. So Jones, your second place driver, very, very smart here. I think he's going to tuck in behind Ogle, maybe see what these Team Miata drivers of Ogle and Robinson accompanying him in the top 3. Kind of what they're doing out on track, see if he can mimic some of the lines, braking and throttle points, and learn a little bit behind your race leader, so that way later in the run he'll have the knowledge and the ability to make some big moves, because Ogle's starting to slowly extend that gap. Ogle not quite a 10th faster than Jones that last time by. Josh Robinson trying to make some move on Jones. He might be doing the exact same thing as Jones, kind of taking it easy, following the leader, so to speak, and just playing it safe, because I think very soon Ogle's going to have more traffic to contend with. As Hinchcliffe gets edged out by a pair of drivers, he gets passed by both Dwayne MacArthur and Jason Higginbotham. Now Hinchcliffe will fall back to the 8th place spot. And let's check in on your race leader, Tom Ogle, who's gained 6/10 over Eddie Jones. Now Ogle has always been great at the technical tracks in seasons past with the Metro Ford Cup Series. And he is desperately looking for his first win of the season, just hasn't had the luck that he has had in seasons past. Neither is Josh Robinson, for that matter. Ogle actually hasn't made it onto the podium so far this season. His highest finish was a 4th last week at Richmond. And we're going to have another caution to interrupt the party as Dean Gear finds himself pointing the wrong direction as traffic works their way around. Oh, careful, boys. Trying to find a safe place to turn around. The poor Gear having to do the old 3-point turn as Carisco and friends avoid tagging the 92 machine, who's parked in a very precarious position. I should be showing a replay, but I want to see if he gets turned around safely. That's close. So let's see what happened to Dean Gear. Will it be another self-spin coming out of turn 2? That's mostly what we've seen from the field. Goes high. Does he tag the wall? No, it's someone else. Is that Dakota Pischke? So watch Dakota Pischke in the number 1 machine. Oh, Lee Warsdale, I think is who that was. Yes, in the 99 machine. Gets all out of shape on the grass. And then, man, poor Dean Gear, just nowhere to go. Get an overhead view here. So, yeah, that's your problem. Can't park there. So watch the far left-hand side of your screen, kind of center right now. Lee Warsdale tags that inside apron. No, just gets loose, just as we've seen time and again. Gets loose coming out of the corner. Tries to collect himself. The grass doesn't make it easy. Bends back out on track. Dakota Pischke gets bounced hard right, and then poor Dean Gear, nowhere to go, just drills the outside wall. And we saw a lot of smoke coming out of that 92 machine as he is in pit road looking a little bit worse for wear here. That will be our 3rd caution of the evening. Looks like just about everybody inside the top 10 opting to stay out. Here we go once more, green flag racing. Jones trying to make the outside line work, but here comes Ogle to answer. Track vision is king out here. Ogle throws it in deep alongside Jones. Jones gonna try and carry as much momentum as he can now. He has a call to make. Does he try and battle back with Ogle? I would say he has to, as he does not want to be sitting in second. If we get another caution, it's just so tough to make any sort of moves on that outside line. But now that's going to allow Robinson up the inside. So once again, it's Ogle, Robinson, Jones, Thompson, McDaniel, your current top 5. So far this evening, it's been a bunch of self-spins that occasionally grab some innocent victims. Haven't seen too many, if any, aggressive driving tonight from these guys. So good to see everybody playing safe, and right now everybody else back out on track except for Dean Gear, who's taking an extended visit to pit road. And look at Thompson. Still sitting squarely in 4th in the 67 Toyota Camry. Good to see him out on track, clicking it off. And holding on to it here. Right now, hard charger has got to be Michael Watts, the number 84. He is up now 12 positions after qualifying 20th. Taking some good forward momentum here. And the Lowe's-backed Ford Mustang. He's got Kevin Strandberg, John Hinchcliffe, Patrick Milligan right behind him. And that's the great thing about the Metro Ford Cup Series, or really any of the series ran by the OBRL. As long as you can race clean and meet the minimum age requirements, still plenty of racing to be had. Doesn't matter if it's for first, doesn't matter if it's for 14th. These guys are out here every Sunday just to race hard, race clean, and have a good time with some like-minded folks. As we go back up front, Tom Ogle clicking off laps, making it look easy. Looks like fairly clean track ahead of the number 11 machine. No traffic to worry about as it stands. Back on board with Ogle. Easy on the throttle, easy on the brakes. Not wanting to use up too much tire early in the run. Now, granted, these drivers did say the tires lasted surprisingly good here at Martinsville, so the setup really agreeing with the track conditions. As all of these drivers are on the exact same setup, so spec racing at its finest. It's all about that connection between the seat and the wheel for the Metro Ford Cup Series on who can do a little bit of wheeling. Now let's see, I can't see him yet, but I heard him from the camera. That traffic will be relatively short order for Ogle to deal with as he makes his way through 1 and 2. Now Robinson and Jones staying right there with your race leader. So I think these top three may have backed off the pace ever so slightly. We got something going on further towards the back. Jason Higginbotham had issues. He lost spots to Michael Watts, Kevin Strandberg, and John Hinchcliffe. The number 44 Toyota Camry of Higginbotham now sitting 10th on track. Not necessarily the run he was looking for. He's gotten a couple wins so far this season. And now it looks like Patrick Milligan's going to look to the inside. Higginbotham with a big moment, holds on to it. As Garisco and Hess gain a couple spots, Higginbotham has problems. There goes Carl Burke in the 52, so now Higginbotham has to be careful. He's overheated those rear tires. They're going to be a little bit more likely to spin around on him, so he's got to take 2 to 3 laps, collect himself, collect the tires. Try and get both man and machine cooled off slightly. And there goes Brian Lindsay, number 24 machine. So Higginbotham having a very rough go of it here. But he's a smart, talented driver, knowing, hey, let's get those tires cooled off, then put our head back down and see what we can do. Back up front, still Ogle, Robinson, Jones. They've got about 3/4 of a second over Steve the Mule Thompson, run around in fourth. I think the big deciding factor at this point is going to be traffic to contend with and possible mid to late cautions, mid to late race cautions that throw a wrench as far as the restarts, because that's the biggest opportunity these drivers have so far been able to make any big ground. And Robinson putting some muscle onto Ogle here, urging the number 11 machine to get the pace going as he's got Jones right behind him. Looks like Thompson also closing the gap in the bright yellow 67. As Ogle won't be able to get the speed up that the drivers behind him are looking for as he has to cut through traffic once more. That's the 26 machine of Lloyd Moore trying to make way for your race leader. And navigating traffic the quickest, that gives Ogle a half-second advantage to Robinson, but Robinson's going to close it back down as quick as he can here. So it looks like the top four able to get through traffic nice and easy, no worries there. Man, there's a whole lot of traffic out here at Martinsville. You see Dean Gear, he's going to limp it off of pit road. See if he can get back out there and try and just get some laps in, as he's been in his pit stall for about 13 minutes now. And oh my, all sorts of traffic ahead of Ogle. He's got to be careful not even to the halfway mark so far tonight. Gear has come back down pit road, maybe deciding the car not drivable. We'll see if he goes back out once more, as Robinson all over the back bumper of his teammate Ogle. Meanwhile, Eddie Jones, the number 14 machine, he also wants to get in the mix here. We are 104 laps in, just about to be, there it is, 105 laps in. And your top three drivers, we could throw a blanket over for the duration of these opening laps, not even to the halfway mark. And Ogle, Robinson, Jones have been linked up nose to tail. Thompson not too far off in fourth. He's running around about 9/10 behind this lead three-car pack. Keeping them in sight, just plain and smooth and taking his time. Now these drivers should be able to go to lap 94 on fuel. It's going to be interesting to see what the pit strategy will be if we can continue growing green after those quick early cautions. But we've gotten about 60 laps done so far as we're back on board with Ogle. Trying to spot who that is in front of the number 11, who is about to either be going a lap down or another lap down here at Martinsville. Looks like that's going to be the 29 of Chris Sidner going another lap down in his Ford Mustang. Joe Brown, the number 21, comes down pit road for a green flag stop on lap 109. And I am impressed with the driving we're seeing here tonight. 110 laps in as they cross the line, and still your top three nose to tail. Ogle getting a whole lot of laps led here, but again, he's looking for his first win this season, if not his first podium. As well as Robinson running around in second, also looking for his first win. Now Robinson is third in points. He's had a spattering of podiums so far this season. A second at Richmond, a third at Chicago, a second at Phoenix, and a third at Auto Club. So he's looking for his first win. Meanwhile, Ogle's still searching for a podium here. And then Eddie Cajun Jones looking to be the second three-time winner so far this season. But it's going to be tough as those two Team Miata drivers in front of them, not known for making it easy. And Robinson all over the back bumper of Tom Ogle's number 11 machine here. Let's go a little bit further back, though, to your hard charger, Michael Watts. He's got Kevin Strandberg aiming to make a move in the number 58 machine. You got Richard Meyer here cheering on the guys at Last Ditch Racing, cheering on especially Dwayne MacArthur, our fast Canadian, the number 83 machine. MacArthur 6th on track. As here comes Patrick Milligan as well to challenge Michael Watts in the 84. Behind them, Robert Garisco, John Hinchcliffe put on a show. They're about 5 seconds back, but still battling hard. Garisco on the inside line, Hinchcliffe on the high line. This is the battle for 10th on screen right now as Hinchcliffe goes very wide. And Andrew Hess going to try to take advantage of that as well. Oh, look at that. Hess dives in deep. Hinchcliffe backs out of it saying, you know what? Not worth risking the car at this point, not even at the halfway mark of the evening. And he will live to fight another day. Man, these guys are battling quite intensely. As Milligan making some late race, I guess mid-race moves. He's up 3 spots now into 8th in the bright blue number 18 Ford Mustang. And up front, it is still your top three. Ogle, Robinson, Jones linked up. You've got Steve Thompson, Greg McDaniel rounding out the top five. Now, are we going to see a little teammate rivalry here between the two Team Auto drivers out front? They've got Last Ditch Racing right behind them with Eddie Jones and Steve Thompson. What's more important for these two drivers of Ogle and Robinson? Are they going to play it safe and try and put both their cars 1 and 2? Or are they going to find themselves battling for personal victories here that may allow the Last Ditch Racing team to capitalize and make their way up a little bit forward? Ogle still slicing through traffic. We've got 18 drivers on the lead lap. There will be more traffic to contend with. There's Dean Gear in the next gen modified after his hard impact, losing most of the front end here. But still out there cooking off laps. Now, thankfully, aero not super important here at Martinsville compared to some of the more open tracks, but at the very least, he won't have to worry about overheating that 92 machine as the front end has been sent to orbit. Sacrifice to the Martinsville gods here. As Gear tucks back into pit road to avoid maybe interrupting the race leaders. Ogle not afraid to throw it in there with traffic. That was the 17 of Larry Corey, who will go another lap down here. Robinson, Jones following suit, hugging that inside line. Steve Thompson gets his pass done nice and clean. Man, oh man, is this some white knuckle moments for your race leaders? Trying to see who's just ahead of your race leader, Ogle. I think that's going to be Hinchcliffe and Pearson. No, this is 60 of Michael Dow, who will go down another lap. Still 18 drivers on the lead lap past the halfway mark of the evening. I would not want to be in Tom Ogle's shoes here, as he's got to worry about the fast drivers behind him. Robinson, Jones, Thompson. MacArthur's back up inside the top five, but he's also got to really trust his competitors in front of him that are going a lap down not to do anything too exciting and risk throwing away the win for the number 11 machine. Now, it may be a little bit premature to be discussing the win, but you can bet Ogle's already thinking about it. Leading so far the majority. I think if the math works out, he will have the majority of the laps led regardless of how the rest of this thing goes. has his hands full. Man, oh man, look at the traffic ahead of him here. Interesting to see a fourth gear track all the way around. No downshifting at this point. Drivers able to find enough RPMs throughout that single fourth gear to make things happen well for them. Now look at this as well. Steve Thompson has caught up to his teammate Eddie Jones with the traffic slowing the pace down slightly. All these drivers pretty much doing 20.5 second lap times their last time by. Ooh, Jones has a bit of a shimmy coming out of 4. Thompson going low, going high, doing whatever it takes to get through traffic. Meanwhile, Ogle also very busy up there in the top spot. He's trying to get around Bruce Pearson to put him a lap down. Lee Warsdale also ahead, the 99 machine. Warsdale having better luck now after he had that incident early on. Ogle makes his way around Pearson. Now it'll be 17 drivers on the lead lap. Gear comes down pit road. I believe he is done. You can see the smoke coming out of that thing. So unfortunately, Gear's his night may be over, having to send it back to the virtual hauler. Got to keep the smoke inside that engine. Otherwise, it doesn't quite do as well. Lee Warsdale going a lap down, so now we're down to 16 drivers on the lead lap. How many drivers will be on the lead lap if this thing can go green to the end? If I had to take a guess, I would say we're going to get down to 10 with the pace that Ogle and Robinson is carrying. They've been making great time on the entirety of the field. Especially considering the fact that we're expecting these guys to not have to come down pit road until about lap, I believe, 200 or so. We've got it still 16 drivers on the lead lap. Ogle and Robinson separated by about 0.4 of a second. They're about 1.2 seconds ahead of Eddie Jones and Steve Thompson. Have a little bit of a gap between themselves as well, but right now we are watching with bated breath to see how Ogle's going to be able to navigate traffic here. That's John Hinchcliffe, the number 50 machine, going high to allow Ogle and Robinson to tuck on through, but That is a busy, busy racetrack in front of your race leader, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like that's Dan Hill, number 10 machine, just ahead as well. Hill several laps down. He came down pit road to try and get those internet woes corrected. And I believe just ahead of Hill will be Dakota Pischke in the number 1 machine. Hill facilitates the pass as quick as he can. No worries for Ogle and Robinson. And Ogle's going to keep that momentum up, working the inside line, and Dakota Pischke a little bit of shimmy out of that number 11 machine, but no worries there. As Jones still sits about a second back from your race leaders, he's got to navigate the same traffic, but the good news is for Jones and Thompson running 3rd and 4th, traffic will be a little bit more aware that lead lap cars are making their way around, as Ogle and Robinson have the privilege and the misfortune of being the first drivers having to cut through here at Martinsville. Less than 100 laps left to go for these drivers. Should put us about 30 minutes or so, I believe, to go. If, and that is a big if, ladies and gentlemen, if we can go green all the way out to the end. Let's go a little bit further back in the field. Robert Garisco has Carl Burke in the 52 machine now breathing on his neck. Number 28 currently showing scored as 11th, Carl Burke in 12th. You've also got Brian Lindsay and Jason Higginbotham in the mix here as well. Really surprised Higginbotham not having the run he was looking for. He was kind of an odds-on favorite to bring home another win here, as he doesn't race often, but when he does, he's very frequently up towards the front. So something not quite coming to grips for the number 44 Toyota of Higginbotham as he rides around in 14th. And you can see Tom Ogle just behind this pack, cutting through once more. The 44 of Higginbotham goes quite wide, almost brushing the wall there to allow the race leaders by, and we've got it down to 13, just 13 drivers on the lead lap. As Carl Burke, Brian Lindsay having a battle for, I believe that's going to be 12th. Yes, it is, but that battle may be interrupted as Ogle sends it in deep on the inside line of the number 24 of Lindsay to put our 13th place driver a lap down. Robinson follows suit, no issues. And now Ogle will have his sights set on Robert Garisco, Carl Burke running 11th and 12th. I wonder how much brakes these guys are going to have at the end. They've been hard on them here at Martinsville. And we did get the official word. Dean Gear has retired from this main event, sustaining too much damage to keep going on. Joe Brown, number 21, has also retired, but we still have 24 drivers out on track, but only 12 on the lead lap as Ogle and Robinson continue charging forward here. Ogle will soon be interrupting the battle for 11th between Robert Garisco and Carl Berg. The pace has definitely dropped last time by Ogle with a 21-second flat lap time. His fastest lap at 19.69 as he makes his way around Carl Berg. Let's see how easy Garisco is going to make for your race leader as he tries to stay on the lead lap. Because I believe if Ogle can get around Garisco in the Crisco back number 28 Ford Mustang, he'll have relatively clean track ahead of him at least for a while. Yeah, it's got about a straightaway. He'll have a clean track. Everybody easy there. Ogle and Robinson get around Garisco nice and tidy. You see Steve Thompson a little bit further back having to dodge traffic as well. Now these drivers have been out on track for over 120 laps on these set of tires. I wonder if Greg McDaniel in the number 30 machine is maybe rethinking his choice to only take 2 tires on his lap 47 pit stop. May have been banking on another caution that has not yet come out. But the last thing any of these drivers are going to want to do here is come in for a green flag stop that may not be needed. Oh, something happened there with Garisco. As he's got some heavy front right damage. I heard the impact from up here and wasn't quite sure where it was from. Oh, as we go 3 wide very briefly. Not sure if that was Dan Hill with a bobble number 10 or the 24 of Brian Lindsay, who may have had a moment checked up. But now our good friend Dwayne MacArthur is in the middle of the vortex of danger, surrounded by some drivers, all itching to get by and get up inside the top 5. MacArthur runs 5th. He's being chased by Strandberg, Milligan, and Watts. As this pack also having to cut through traffic here. A little bit shy of 75 laps left to go for your race leaders. I think that's going to be Dode Hoskins right in front of Ogle. Making their way down the back stretch, coming through turns 3 and 4. Robinson still in hot pursuit, but he'll be interrupted with a caution as Lloyd Moore finds himself in the exact same spot coming out of 4, parked against the inside wall. He's going to wait for the track to try and clear and see if he can get that number 26 fired up, pointing the right direction. And he will do so. Let's see what happened to Moore. Oh man, look at the closing speed from Andrew Hess. But I would imagine this is going to be another case of losing the rear end and careening around, and there it goes. Thankfully, not too hard of impact for Moore. And even more thankfully, the race leader is able to get by nice and clean. So everybody already on pit road 1st through 10th. Will we see anybody take just 2 tires? I don't think so. As it'll be Ogle Robinson. Look at this, Robert Garisco How did you get here? No, I was going to say it moved up to third, but he was waiting to come down pit road, getting a lap back. So it will be Ogle, Robinson, Thompson, your top three. Where is Eddie Jones? Now showing 7. How? I mean, it appears Jones got a penalty, but I'm not quite sure how. I didn't see him involved in any incidents. I think Jones may have an EOL here. I can't imagine he entered a closed pits. Everybody came down together. So it is disaster for the number 14 machine. But fantastic news for Steve Thompson, who'll be starting third. On the front row, it's going to be Ogle, Robinson, Thompson. So 2 teammates on the front row. Thompson and MacArthur, 2 teammates your second row. And then Strandberg and Milligan will be on the third row here for our 4th caution of the evening. Let's send them back out. Ogle, Robinson, the front row, right by. Oh, a little bit of contact between the 2 teammates. Steve Thompson's going to try and capitalize and see if he can slide up the inside line. The number 23 on this restart. Just 12 drivers on the lead lap as it's now Ogle, Robinson, Thompson, MacArthur, Milligan, your top 5. But cautions, green cautions as we get the field bunched back up together. And yes, Greg McDaniel tied up in that one. So yes, we will have another caution. Let's see what happens. McDaniel's number 30 machine. Oh yeah, 3 wide. Ooh, usually doesn't work out well at Martinsville. Oh, narrowly avoiding coming back down to the racing line. So this run will be interrupted. We will re-rack them and try this again, ladies and gentlemen. It'll still be Ogle, Robinson in the front row, Thompson, MacArthur your second row, Milligan and Strandberg your third row. Let's see what's going to happen on the front row. Ogle will have that very important inside line. And also keep an eye out on Steve the Mule Thompson, the number 67 machine, who's going to try and make some big moves here as he's got his teammate right behind him. MacArthur opts to give his support to Thompson. Dropping down the inside line as quick as he can, but here comes Thompson, not quite able to get the drive he wanted. This is the biggest opportunity these drivers are going to have to make some moves throughout the field. Ogle again out front. We've got 13 drivers on the lead lap. And less than 60 laps for these drivers to try and make something happen. Now everybody good to go to the end here, both most likely on fuel and on tires. But these cautions also interrupt a new problem for the field. You've got some drivers taking 4 fresh Goodyears, suddenly find themselves on a car that's a lot more loose, a lot more free, a lot more likely to spin around on you. Again, most of the cautions we've seen so far tonight are from self-spins, drivers losing it, mostly out of turn 4 it looks like, getting on the throttle and just spinning themselves around. Ogle and Robinson have pulled a very quick 1 second lead over Thompson and MacArthur. And right behind the two teammates is Milligan in 5th, Strandberg 6th, Watt 7th. Watt, still your hard charger, up 13 spots so far. There's a lot of smoke out there, not sure where that was from, as we keep things pointed in a forward direction for now. Ogle has about 6/10 over his teammate Robinson. Robinson only 3/4 of a second over Thompson, so Thompson finding some pace here, closing the gap to the number 23 machine in second. Let's see, already Ogle gonna be looking at traffic as he makes his way through turns 3 and 4 here. Excuse me, 1 and 2. He does not have time to be polite, but I think he may have that time found as Larry Corey tags the outside wall. No caution, we're gonna go green as the field bunches up behind Ogle. Things are starting to get a little bit frantic with 50 laps left to go. Ogle holding on to it here in the bright pink number 11. It's Ford running first and second with Ogle and Robinson. Thompson, our fastest Toyota out on track, runs third. Wayne MacArthur will be our fastest Chevrolet as he sits fourth. But how is traffic going to interrupt things? Or no, we're not going to get to that point, as it shows Eddie Jones, Kevin Strandberg involved in an incident. Oh no, the front end completely gone from Jones's number 14. Let's see what happened. Number 14, Strandberg, and the number 58. Oh! An extremely hard impact. Let's take a look at that once more from Strandberg's point of view. There it is, the telltale sign of it spinning around, tries to chase it, not able to. And then Jones nowhere to go, just absolutely clobbers the 58 of Strandberg. Poor Jones just can't catch a break tonight. And that will put us on our 6th caution of the evening. We got Robert Hill Jr., our good old friend. He's cheering on Andrew Hess in the 54 Chevrolet. Hess currently 7th out on track. Our top 8 drivers have not been down pit road since lap 178. John Hinchcliffe running 9th. He came in lap 187 and it took 4 fresh good years. And oh, I think things are about to get heated here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get them gridded back up. Ogle and Robinson, your front row. Thompson, MacArthur, your second row. Milligan and Watts, your third row. The green flag flies once more, and away they go. Ogle with a great launch, but look at that. Steve Thompson trying to make some moves to the inside line. The tough spot to be in. You want to move up, but if you're expecting another caution, the track position on the restart is just so incredibly important. But Thompson gonna let it all hang out here and see if he can track down Ogle's number 11 Ford Mustang. Ogle has a commanding half-second gap to Thompson in second. Thompson only has about 3/10 over Robinson, but he's also got Dwayne MacArthur just about 4/10 back, who's going to put the pressure on Robinson to try and help out his teammate. It's a very diverse top 5. You've got Team Miata, Last Ditch Racing all up in the mix here, looking to make something happen. Now with about 35 laps left to go, I wonder if traffic will once again be a concern. Things are getting more exciting as this run goes on because we have another caution coming out, this time with Bruce Pearson involved in it. Let's see what happened to the number 22 machine. He's side by side with the 58. Oh, throws it in deep, throws it in way too deep. And around goes Pearson. Fishke gets a little bit of a tag. I believe Warsdale does as well as the field scatters around. Oh, these gentlemen are going to be run out of incident points. Only 7 incident points allowed for the Metro Ford Cup Series. As it looks like Dakota Fishke may have just hit that limit, the number 1 machine, as I believe he is off track. Now look at this. Josh Robinson comes down pit road. Ogle, Thompson, MacArthur, your now current top 3 opt to stay out. Let's try this again after our 7th caution of the evening. Ogle, Thompson, front row. MacArthur, Milligan, second row. Wise, Hinchcliffe, your third row. Keep an eye out, though, for Andrew Hess. He'll be starting 12th with fresh tires. Arguably some of the freshest out on track, but will he have enough time to make anything of it? As Ogle very quickly covers his inside line because he knows the 2 last-ditch racing teammates of Thompson and MacArthur will be charging forward here. Looks like the start is good. We continue this thing nice and green. Ogle with a half-second advantage. 28 laps left to go. Ogle with a very quick, commanding 6/10 lead over Thompson and MacArthur. Keep an eye out as well. Michael Watts running fourth on track, our hard charger. He's up 16 positions, so he knows how to make moves here at Martinsville, and he's been doing it all night long, as he will be chased by John Hinchcliffe and Patrick Milligan. What an exciting evening it has been so far. But it has been for certain. Tom Ogle's been the dominant driver so far tonight. Josh Robinson's worked his way up to 9th after the lap 2:16 pit stop. Again, with 26 laps left to go, about to be 25 at the line, will Robinson have enough time to keep moving forward? As I say that, he's moved up to 7th in the 23 machine. Make it 6. The Robinson running about 2/10 faster than most of the drivers 1st through 5th. But he will also have to cut through traffic. Let's pan back to Robinson to see what type of moves he's making, as he's about to try and catch up to John Hinchcliffe's number 50 machine and work his way back inside the top 5. But I've got to wonder about that risky, very risky call from Robinson, willing to gamble, sacrificing track position for much fresher tires than the rest of the field. And it looks like it's working out well for him, able to squeeze down the bottom as he makes his way to the inside of Hinchcliffe. Here comes Robinson charging up through the field. Last time by, Robinson with a 19.7. He's running about 4/10 faster than everybody in front of him at this point. And the biggest thing with those fresh Goodyears, able to get all the way down low and still have momentum out of the corner, as he is quickly caught up to the back of the 84 machine of Michael Watts. Now Robinson's entire strategy here will depend if this race can go green, as he works the inside line against Watts and has already moved up to 4th. My goodness, Robinson is on it late in the race here at Martinsville. He sees Wayne MacArthur in his sights in the 83 machine. MacArthur's not going to make it easy. He's going to fight so hard, tooth and nail. Oh no, Robinson with a big moment. He struggles to hold on to it, and he drills the inside wall. The caution will surely come out. It does. Robinson, after so much work, throws it away, and they have problems in front of him. Somebody else, I think, just blew up. That was Strandberg. What just happened, ladies and gentlemen? Robinson in a crash that took what felt like an eternity to finally end. He had charged all the way up to 4th and was looking set to battle with MacArthur. Just lose the back end. Well, you can see the skid marks already there out of turn 4. He swaps. He holds on to it. Michael Watts gets around, just drills the inside wall. And then look at this. I believe, yeah, it's going to be Strandberg. And no relation, locks it up and just completely blows up. So if Robinson wouldn't have crashed, Strandberg would have brought out the caution himself. Robinson goes back to pit road to think about what could have been here tonight, as it'll still be Ogle, Thompson, MacArthur, your top 3. Watts and Hinchcliffe rounds out the top 5. Oh, my heart can't take it, ladies and gentlemen. Too much excitement. It's going to be about 14 laps left to go for our restart. Here we go, Ogle and Thompson on the front row. Ogle will have the inside line. Second row, MacArthur on the inside line. Watts on the high line. And here we go with 13 laps left to go. Count on Ogle and MacArthur to defend that inside line quite fiercely. Is right behind MacArthur. Watts, Hinchcliffe, Milligan, Higginbotham trying to make moves. Higginbotham, who had a very rough start tonight, able to pull his way back up inside the standings. As now watching Hinchcliffe go side by side. Watts trying the outside line, but that has not been too dominant so far this evening. What's going to happen here? Ogle holding on to the race lead as Thompson and MacArthur in hot pursuit. Meanwhile, fourth place driver Michael Watts has a whole lot of folks stacking up behind him. Just 10 laps left to go as here comes Thompson getting on the gas, trying to track down the number 11 of Ogle. Ogle started on pole and is trying to end it there to pick up his first win of the season. And Thompson also looking for his first win, while MacArthur looking to be the first four-time winner so far this season. MacArthur, who is not expecting great results out of the 83 machine tonight at Martinsville, has got to be ecstatic to be still in a podium contention. Eight laps left to go. Will we be able to get to the end without a green-white checker attempt? As I believe Carl Burke and Brian Lindsay have issues, and they show now off track, not scoring any laps here, so I wonder if they hit the incident limit as well. A very low incident limit, only 7 points allowed for these drivers before they get disqualified. Laps quickly ticking off. Still a half second between Ogle and Thompson. About 4 tenths between Thompson and MacArthur. As 9th place driver Josh Robinson once again clicks off the fastest lap of the race with a 19.64. So despite being damaged, both machine and pride, Robinson's still out there making some moves, trying to capitalize. But with 5 laps left to go, I think it's only going to be Thompson that has a chance of dethroning the white claw of Ogle. Oh, and a little bit of a bump and run. Thompson giving Ogle the business with 4 laps left to go. Not able to get it properly set up, but let the number 11 know, I'm coming for you. I want the win. The chrome horn coming into play. Ogle gets a little bit loose out of 2. Has to collect himself. Will we see the bumper attempt? We will! Thompson back on the back bumper of Ogle. Here we go with 3 laps left to go. Thompson means business all over the back of Tom Ogle. For the race lead, MacArthur is about 9/10 back. He doesn't want anything to do with this one. Thompson again, giving a shove to Ogle. 2 laps left to go. If we're going to see Thompson try and move Ogle out of the way, this is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. It'll surely be into turn 3 and 4, I would imagine, if not the white flag lap, but Thompson needs to stay right there with Ogle. If Ogle can get a breakaway, he's looking good and clean as the white flag will come out. Will we see Thompson take another shot at the number 11? Yes, about a half car length separates them down the backstretch here at Martinsville. They're gonna put on a show. Thompson sends it in deep, gives Ogle another hearty shove. But it's gonna be Tom Ogle, his first win of the season here at Martinsville. Steve Thompson bringing home the second, and Dwayne MacArthur bringing home a third. What a great race here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, that was one of my favorite races I've called in a while. We're going to try and get our top 3 drivers up into the waiting room. Oh, I am catching my breath up here as we get our top 3 drivers up into victory lane. And up first, we're going to get Dwayne MacArthur in the 83 machine join us. Now, Dwayne, we talked in the weeks past that you weren't expecting to be doing well here at Martinsville, but all of a sudden finding yourself up inside the top 3.
Yeah, I feel like I overachieved today there, James. I'm not sure how fast I was, but I just tried to stay out of trouble, run some laps, keep the tires on it, and of course, my couple of my teammates are lights out here, and worked with them all week in the other series, and made a big difference. So I'm very, very, very happy with third place.
Now, Dwayne, in those closing laps, it looked like you kind of backed off the pace ever so slightly as Ogle and Thompson were playing a little bit of high-speed bumper cars. Were you expecting a crash out of those two, or are you just kind of enjoying the show?
Oh, 1000%. I'm not sure I really had anything to fight Steven. He's my teammate, so I'm not sure I was going to dive it in on him, and I wasn't 100% certain he wasn't going to turn Ogle, so I just laid back and rolled back to the 84 there, and I was thinking maybe I'd drive by them both when they were in the wall.
Well, no such luck, but a lot of great racing, my friend. It's Martinsville. It's a tight technical track. Did you expect tonight to be rougher, or this is about what you expected coming into the very short track?
It's about on par. I thought maybe there'd be a couple more. There wasn't a lot of traction there. The track was relatively warm, but and then with the low tire wear, but the grip faded even with the tires being in good shape. It was a unique combination. I thought maybe there'd be some slide ups and a few more incidents, but I think it went pretty well.
Well, good night all the way around. Good having you back up here into the top 3. And Dwayne, before I let you go celebrate and maybe have a relaxing drink after this, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you get up here tonight?
Yeah, big shout out to everybody at Last Ditch Racing on my team here, Steve and Eddie, Dakota, Brian, Clay, Robert. They all really, really helped me out throughout the week, and I struggle here so much, so really appreciate them. And then the people that I know are watching the broadcast, Richard Meyer, the old man's upstairs with his buddy Paul. Big shout out to them, and a shout out to you. And just one big one is to our series sponsor, Metro Ford Chicago, Patrick Milligan there. A longtime supporter of the league. Love what he does here. Helps make it all possible. So
Awesome. Well said, Dwayne. Hope to have you back up here, and congratulations on a great night, my friend.
thanks, buddy. Good job. See you next week.
Thank you, sir. That was Dwayne MacArthur bringing it home in third. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve the Mule Thompson, coming out of retirement and showing the young guns how to do it tonight.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I had a lot of fun though. It was fun to come in here and race this car. This car felt it was fun as hell to drive on this track. This combination.
Now, Steve, what was being discussed between you and Ogle in those closing laps? Because the chrome horn came into effect, and that might have been one of the most entertaining finishes I've called in a long time, because you were all over that White Claw number 11 for the remaining 5 laps or so.
I was trying to ruffle his feathers. I kept getting underneath, getting to his bumper and pushing him around, but I couldn't quite get him at the right time when he went to accelerate. That's what I was hoping for, but it was fun. He controlled it pretty good.
Now, I guess that's the best part about being here at OBRL is you get to run against the same names and faces. You get to know kind of what you can get away with other drivers, who you can drive like that, and who you need to give a little bit more extra space. But, I mean, you and Ogle have ran together a long time, so were you pretty confident if you got into him just hard enough, he'd still be able to hold on to it, or were you willing to risk his machine for a possible win?
I didn't want to risk his machine, but I thought I could just move him out of the way. The first time I hit him pretty hard. Actually, Dwayne heard it in his car when I hit him the first time. But after that, I just kept just trying to ruffle him up. Just push him, see if I could get him loosened up and get by him. But those guys they're great drivers, so if it's tough.
Well, Steve, it's great having you back out on track. I know real life sometimes gets in the way of the old virtual shenanigans, but really good seeing that number 67 back out on track. Even better having you back inside the top 3. It's been a long time, my friend. And who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you get out here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank all the admins of the league, um, Dwayne and Dakota and Brian, Crisco, Ragin, and whoever else I forgot. Those guys have been running this thing since I've been on my sabbatical, and I don't know how much I'll be able to get out to race again. We got a huge windstorm, so I can't get on the tractor and grade today. It's too windy. But also I want to thank my sponsor, Ride TV, and I want to thank everybody for watching, and thanks for doing such a great job on the broadcast while I've been gone. I appreciate it. It's fun to watch.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. Good having you back, and hope to see you in some way, some form out here again in the near future.
Thanks, and big shout out to emetroford.com. If anybody's looking for a new or used vehicle, go check out Patrick. Great prices and a huge inventory of used vehicles right now at emetroford.com.
Well said, Steve. Thank you again, my friend, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. That was Steve Thompson bringing home a second, but look at this. It's Tom Ogle for the first time this season joining us in Victory Lane. Tom, it's been too long, my friend.
I can't argue that fact. I haven't even done a podium interview, let alone Victory Lane interview.
Well, Tom, it's kind of like the penalization speeches, but a little bit easier and more flamboyant, I would say. Is you get the limelight, you get the top spot. I know the fans were going wild, and I was absolutely losing it up here in the broadcast booth in those closing laps.
It's a lot like those stories that just seems to go on and on and on, and just about the time you think it's over, something bad happens.
Just like college, Tom. And speaking, that kind of describes the race, too. I mean, 250 laps, and I don't think Thompson made those last 5 any easier for you, because I don't think I've seen such aggressive racing amongst friends in a very long time, and I've called a whole lot of shows.
Well, I hadn't had to run that hard. He got loose off of, I believe, 4 before that. So, I could pace myself a little bit, but once that last one, I couldn't pace myself, so I had to readjust my pace. And then I just made sure I let the car roll just a little bit longer so he couldn't get a run up underneath me.
Now, Ogle, I mean, it seemed like you really came to grips with the track and the car tonight. I mean, definitely the dominant driver all night. What made you so comfortable so fast here at Martinsville when we saw so many other drivers kind of start to lose it out of turn 4 or make little mistakes and not able to charge through the field?
I think this car, you can't hustle the car. You have to just drive it. You have to be easy, because if you buzz your front or rear tires, they're done for a couple laps and then you fall back, or you get the back tires hot and you just wreck. There's not, I mean, without thinking about it. But Josh was the fastest car. He was all over me the whole first run. And I think at the end, going around lap cars and stuff, that real long run, I think he'd have been fast. And then I kind of had resigned myself that he was going to pass me. And then when he stopped and got new tires there late, I think if he doesn't spin, he runs me down and gets me too.
Well, it looks like the stars aligned for you in the White Claw back number 11 Ford Mustang, and great racing. Now at the end there, were you worried at all that Steve Thompson, who's not quite a full-time driver anymore, do you think he was willing to risk punching you out of the way for a race win in his comeback series?
I think he might have moved me, but I just know you race thousands of laps with these guys. You know that they're not going to wreck you. You know what I mean? I just thought if he timed it right, he would get a run on me. I knew he wouldn't wreck me. I was worried every single restart late. My legs were shaking and everything else. It's just as nerve wracking as when I raced for real. It's tough. You know, you got like 3 members of last place racing like running all over you the whole race. So Josh and I were able to hold him off.
Well, Ogle, it was a lot of fun watching, man. I know it's been a very long time and a very well-deserved win here at Martinsville, and I hope you can build off that momentum. It's always great seeing you out on track or talking to you before the broadcast start. Well-deserved victory, my friend, and you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Any friends, family, sponsors you want to give a shout-out to?
Everybody should go have a White Claw on me. And just thank you for doing a great job announcing, and thank all the admins for running a nice league.
Awesome, Tom. Good time talking to you, my friend. Congratulations, and hope to have you back up here in the near future.
Thank you. Have a good week.
You as well, my friend. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Tom Ogle finishing in the top spot. A long time coming for the number 11 Team Miata White Claw backed Ford Mustang, where it was also Steve Thompson, Dwayne MacArthur rounding out the podium representing Last Ditch Racing. As always, on behalf of the Metro Ford Cup Series, Old Bastards Racing League, Victor Lane Sports, and Kimball.net, my name is James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, signing off. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.